Can you believe that after 89 years, only less than 5% of people of color have won Academy Awards? 2017 made history with the most black winners ever. Ali and Davis have both won awards in their given categories, which has definitely shaped a landmark year for diversity in the awards race. The Oscars So White discussion a couple years ago pushed the Academy Awards to see more diversity. It was much needed, and the public was basically begging for it. This effect, along with the amazing work that went into producing and directing 2017's Best Picture Moonlight, has made a huge shift in the award show industry. Hear what Hofstra students and professors have to say about this amazing development in the film industry.
Yes, absolutely. The hashtag Oscar So White was definitely a pinnacle of the societal observation, reaction, outcry about recent, almost kind of a blatant dismissal of racial minorities in these ultimate awards that gave recognition to quality works in the industry. So I think overall speaking, we are at a place in our society, in our racial discourse, where a lot of us are aware that we're not giving enough recognition to the equally recognized, all the works that should be equally recognized. So, as a result, a lot of these traditional mainstream awards are losing credibility or the recognition that they would like to associate themselves with. So this year, the 2017 Oscar Award ceremony was the least watched since 2008.
Better about this, and we really saw that play out in this past year's Academy Awards. And I don't mean to suggest that those awards were simply trying to make up for the previous years, because I think Moonlight deserved every award that it got. I was so moved and touched by that film. It's rare, actually, for the actual best film of any given year to win that award. I think that's something else we have to remember about Hollywood and the Oscars. This is really a big publicity stunt. The Oscars are about promoting Hollywood films and promoting the kinds of films that Hollywood wants to be making. And so I just think it's important to keep that in mind.
I think speeches that address issues like diversity or just issues that might be hot button topics at the moment are really important at award shows. Yes, there are people that would disagree with me, but I think the vast majority turns on the TV knowing that you're not just gonna see somebody thanking, just the people that worked on it, but you're gonna see a message that really is resonating with the public. We saw that this year with Barry Jenkins, who won for Moonlight, which is an extremely groundbreaking movie as far as the Oscars are concerned. It's about a young gay black boy growing up in Miami with a mother who's unfortunately addicted to crack. So that's something that normally would be very overlooked, especially since, like Mark said, it was largely independently funded, totally out of the mainstream view. But because we have people like Barry Jenkins that have the minute to speak to millions of people across the country and say, these are issues that should be at the forefront and we need to really address them. And that's something we saw last year too with John Legend and Common, who had a really beautiful speech about Selma, really in the wake of a very racially tense year that had a lot to do with Ferguson. They talked about.
I think that Moonlight this year was an example of that. So here is a film that not only comes out of the niche population of African Americans, which represents maybe 10% of the U.S. population, but black, male, homosexual, which represent about 2.5% of the population. But yet and still, that story managed to touch and reach people from all different walks of life, all different spectrums. So this idea that you can't be specific, right? That you can't have stories which touch on, niche communities or small people's lives and have that, if the story is well told, speak to all people, it's been proven in part not to be true. And I hope that gives them motivation to tell more non-traditional stories, to reach out beyond the narrow demographic of the 16 to 21-year-old white males, and realize that there's a lot more stories to be told, and that people can appreciate them, and that they can succeed in the marketplace. So hopefully this is a wake-up call. I'm not keeping holding my breath, but I'm hoping.
As a whole, this year's Academy Award show had a huge jump in diversity, but there is still much room for improvement, and we should certainly start seeing more people of color on the big screen. Therefore, we must continue with our efforts to bring more diversity to the Academy Awards.